Hi there everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining us for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson, piloting you on this exciting journey through the pages. Coming up, we'll get tips on running a successful business, tackle plastic pollution and explore technology in schools. Sit back and relax with these and more great features unfolding after this important message.
Come down. Well, this is a real business?
I should think so. You don't see them dressed nice.
How could be well-dressed criminals? Let me see, because you can check for a registered business on COJ website. You know that, right?
We can check online?
Yeah, man, things up now. You can check for a registered business on the company's Office of Jamaica website. So many know things.
Yes.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 20, 2026. The Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, has officially launched its Medical Cannabis Special Permit Programs, a landmark initiative designed to strengthen access and inclusion for traditional ganja growers within Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. They were officially launched at the AC Hotel by Marriott Kingston last Thursday.
These amendments provide Jamaicans with alternative and sustainable avenues for enterprise beyond traditional industries, while supporting the development of emerging roles within the cannabis value chain, including cultivation specialists, trimmers, packagers, extraction technicians, and other key professionals.
The Medical Cannabis Special Permit Programs will be implemented under the recently gazetted regulations governing the CLA's operations. The Dangerous Drugs Cannabis Licensing Interim Amendment Regulations 2025 introduced several regulatory improvements to strengthen the licensing framework and expand access to Jamaica's legal cannabis industry. Chief Executive Officer of the CLA, Farah Blake, says a key amendment is the introduction of a special community permit, which allows traditional and small-scale farmers to enter the industry collectively as a community or group. Among the benefits is a significant reduction in financial barriers.
It gives an opportunity to start at a small scale, and the applicants or participants will have access to our technical support team from the Cannabis Specialization Unit. It also gives the participants access to the sale of ganja within the licensed space, and all participants do not have to be located in the immediate physical location. And I believe, very importantly, there are no fees to be charged for this permit.
There is also a cultivator's transitional special permit, which enables small-scale farmers to enter the regulated space with the goal of fully transitioning within 2 years. The regulations have also been amended to provide for the issuance of identification cards, which legitimizes the employment of workers in the industry and mitigates issues they may have in interactions with the police. Another key amendment is the standardization of license tenure, where all authorizations will now carry a 3-year tenure. Cultivators will also be allowed full operation during the period of their license extension. Also, retailers will now be able to make their delivery of cannabis to their clients. Ms. Blake says the CLA anticipates that these improvements will enhance business operations and further strengthen Jamaica's globally renowned brand. The government has launched a new operations center to improve efficiency, safety, and oversight of the rural school bus system. The School Bus Operations Center was officially opened last week by El Hydro, a subsidiary of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the new facility will act as the command center for the entire operation.
This facility is the operational hub of the entire program of 110 school buses servicing every parish in Jamaica. From here, we will have real-time visibility of the bus movements through GPS tracking. Routes will be managed more efficiently and effectively, and we'll use data to inform decisions and continuously improve service delivery.
Vice President of El Hydro, Major Paul Brown, says the center integrates advanced technology and security systems to improve the safety and management of student transportation.
The operation of this facility created a connected network for parents, drivers, school administrators. Analytical information derived from the center will be used by JUTC to optimize bus schedules, routing, driver behavior, investigation, bus performance, and even CO2 emission tracking.
He adds that the system will enable investigations through recorded footage stored for up to 90 days. All communications within the system will be end-to-end encrypted, ensuring a secure and connected transport network for students across the island. The rural school bus system, introduced in 2025, currently serves approximately 16,000 students daily. Farmers in Trelawney are receiving a critical boost to rebound from recent weather-related challenges following the handover of 600 bags of fertilizer and a range of crop seeds by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. The support package includes seeds for cabbage, cucumber, carrot, sweet pepper, onion, tomato, watermelon, and corn. Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green welcomed the initiative, commending the FAO for its timely and responsive support to the sector. The minister emphasized the need for the agriculture sector to evolve in response to changing climate conditions.
In this day and age, we have to take a scientific, data-driven approach to agriculture. Very important. We can't sit down here and say, yes, the climate has changed. Yes, it is hotter. Yes, we see more torrential rainfall, but we're doing the agriculture just like it was done 20 years ago. We have to modify our approaches. So I'm very happy that the FAO is working with us on this recovery program.
The handover ceremony was held recently at a Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA parish office in Trelawney. Chief Executive Officer of RADA, Garnet Edmondson, says the initiative aligns with broader efforts to strengthen the agricultural sector. Pointing to rising geopolitical tensions, he cautioned farmers to brace for potential global supply challenges for key inputs such as fertilizers, but assured that government was keeping on top of the situation.
Now, I want to reassure our farmers that under the guidance of our minister and the team from the Ministry of Agriculture, led by our PS, Mr. Dermot Spence, we have started to take steps to ensure that we can feed Jamaica and Jamaica will continue to eat.
Students and teachers at St. Andrew Technical High School have been given assurance that a state-of-the-art renewable energy lab will be installed at the institution this summer. Minister of Education, Senator Dana Morris-Dixon, gave the assurance during a recent visit to the school. She revealed that procurement for the lab has already been initiated, with installation expected to begin in the summer months and opening targeted for September.
That kind of lab does not exist in any of our other high schools. So that will be here. What it means is they will get the best technology that you have in this area, and they'll be leaders in this area. Some of the other schools, so all the technical high schools will get one lab. We start with one, cutting edge, and then we start looking at how we can improve the equipment.
Minister Morris-Dixon was addressing an alumni engagement event held as part of the school's 65th anniversary celebrations. She underscored the important role of alumni groups in shaping the future of education, while commending past students who returned to support their alma mater. All 6 operating theaters at the Mandeville Regional Hospital are fully operational. The Southern Regional Health Authority, SURHA, is making that clarification in response to social media posts falsely suggesting that there is only one working operating theater at the hospital. In fact, the Health Authority says $13.4 million was spent to extensively upgrade 4 of the 6 operating theaters at Mandeville Regional in recent months. The renovations have reportedly improved safety, infection control, and conditions for staff and patients. The Southern Regional Health Authority is encouraging persons to desist from sharing false information and confirm with credible sources before posting on social media platforms. And finally, residents of Westmoreland are being urged to keep their immunization records up to date to help prevent vaccine-preventable diseases. Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Marcia Graham, is making the call ahead of Vaccination Week in the Americas, which runs from April 25 to May 2. Dr. Graham is especially urging parents to keep their children's vaccination records accurate and take the immunization cards with them to medical visits and provide copies to schools. As health teams continue to monitor coverage, she is also reminding people to take precautions when traveling, noting, for example, that Jamaica is malaria-free, but there remains a risk of the disease entering the country through travel. Dr. Graham is advising persons traveling to countries where malaria is common to take prescribed preventative medication. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica's economic development demands space for competitive business enterprises that are sustainable and profitable. And as the country continues the path to recovery and growth, we now turn the pages for a look at a few ways government is supporting entrepreneurs. We'll also get valuable tips for your business success.
Starting and operating a successful business requires mindset, structure, and strategy. To remain sustainable and competitive, you need a roadmap that saves time and money while maximizing income and growth. And a business incubator can get you out the starting block.
I believe the first starting point is to check JBDC. Our mantra is taking you from concept to market. Here are the concept stage, which is the ideation stage, thinking about business. You come to us and we provide you with the assessment of what it is that you are planning to do or thinking of doing, guide you to whether or not this makes sense or not. Then the next step is to look at the structure, look at how it is that you're going to sustain this business. Does it have a reliable market? Is it a nice to do product, or is it nice to have product, or is it a must have product, for instance? So accessing the marketability of the product is very important. Having done so, assessing the other end of the supply chain. Do you have the raw materials to get into this business? If it is a service business, do you have the personnel that are equipped and trained? So to look at structuring your business in such a way that for growth and for sustainability, that includes doing a business plan.
With your in-demand product or service, the right research, a clear plan, and a strong team, you're on track to a scalable and profitable enterprise. But remember, teamwork makes the dream work. So build a network of persons hinged on the principles of honesty, trust, and other ethical business conduct.
Assemble a solid team, people you can rely on, persons who are professional in their practices, and persons who will give the same energy and drive to whatever business endeavor you plan to engage in.
Now, let's look at financing your business development. Not every dollar is the right dollar to borrow. Therefore, you must seek funding from the right source and appropriate for your business's stage of development.
You have to understand that based on the stage of business that you're at, whether or not you are thinking about it, or you are at seed stage, startup stage, or you are at growth stage, or you are at internationalization stage, the right financial product is different. For startups, we do not recommend that you start up your business solely with somebody else's money, with credit money. Because the moment that you take credit financing, as in from a bank or financial institution, that type of thing, the clock starts ticking. You're still in that stage of testing out your business, testing out the validation of your product and things of that nature. So you can't be assured that you'll have the cash flow that is required for you to pay back a loan.
For those businesses at the growth and internationalization stage, there are other agencies of the government that can support and guide, like the Exim Bank and JAMPRO.
It is important for us at Exim that the ecosystem around each business is well supported. So when we look at the capital, the capital in different forms. We look at money, we look at structure, we look at the human capital that they're bringing in. So even looking at our loan processing, it's a comprehensive look at the business and how we can help you. So whatever that you are investing in whatever form, Exim is here to support it, look at it, not just to lend you money and leave you, but to guide you, to help you.
It is important in today's digital age for persons to be able to find and interact with your business online. So leverage the available technology. Post online ads and pay for them to be boosted to reach a larger target audience as you push your branding and maintain high standards. And one golden rule that never changes: good record keeping. This helps you see the figures clearly, manage your cash flow, and ensure that you can pay bills and settle debts on time. Build creditability and financial discipline by always passing funds through a business bank account. Understand the business. Plan, tweak, use machinery, automation, digitization, and digitalization to improve productivity levels. Your business journey isn't just about survival. It's about building a legacy with the right mindset, the right path, and the right support to ensure success is within reach.
Plastic pollution is a critical global crisis causing substantial habitat damage as plastic waste enters our aquatic ecosystem, posing a grave risk to life and health. Pay attention as we examine plastic pollution and solutions that can eliminate or reduce this threat.
Jamaica, a jewel of the Caribbean. Our 1,022 kilometers coastline is adorned with harbors, bays, pristine beaches, mangrove swamps, and coral reefs. The name Jamaica, derived from the Taino word Jamaica, means land of wood and water. How fitting for a paradise where beauty flows from lush mountains through crystal clear rivers to turquoise seas. Our marine space is 24 times our land area, and we boast an array of endemic species, truly nature's masterpiece. Beautiful, isn't it? Jamaica is particularly vulnerable to the effects of marine pollution. United Nations Environment Programme in 2021 says global concern about plastic pollution of the natural environment is warranted as plastic debris is ubiquitous and poses a threat to biodiversity. In the marine environment, macro and microplastics have been reported in multiple environmental compartments: surface waters, subsurface waters, sediments, the atmosphere, and biota.
Plastics are toxic, and so they impact the species that come in contact with them either by eating them, but they introduce toxins to the environment. And then large pieces of plastics, plastic bags, even plastic rope that we don't think about, cause entanglement. Large marine animals might try to consume the plastic, and they get gut blockage. They literally, physically damage the animals. And we don't think about the plants enough, but organisms like mangroves are extremely damaged by plastics.
Of the 800,000 tons of residential waste Jamaica generates annually, 20% is estimated to be plastics, according to the IDB. Plastics like these accumulate in marine environments and fragment into microscopic pieces or microplastics.
We're coming back from a conference and driving along Palisade Street, and we looked out to our left. It must have been the day after rainfall because there was this thin film of plastic bottles, debris just as far as the eye can see. I've never seen it that bad. Left, right, center, just covering the entire harbor.
So plastic pollution has become a critical environmental issue across the island. It has been known to impact our marine and coastal ecosystems, the tourism industry, public health, and it also affects the livelihoods of persons who depend on these ecosystems for a source of living.
Most recently, we've become very conscious of microplastics, because when the material stays in the harbor, it fragments, it gets into small enough pieces to get into the food chain. So the small things eat the plastics, and larger fish will eat those smaller fish, and you get bioaccumulation. By the time it gets to us, it's really at a level that can cause problems to humans.
But what caused this problem in the first place?
Once upon a time, plastic wasn't something that we used as often, and it started really growing in its use in around the 1950s because it's cheap, it's convenient. But the problem with plastic is that it never breaks down. And we have a lot of items that are single use because it's also convenient. And so while it doesn't make up the most significant portion of our waste, it looks like it does because it's the thing that stays in our environment the longest.
The other major effort the government would have undertaken starting in January 1, 2019, that's when it became effective. The work would have started in 2016, was the first phases of a targeted plastic ban targeting certain single-use plastic items. That was plastic bags, styrofoam containers, and plastic straws. One person said, well, why don't you ban all plastic? And I said, well, all plastics aren't created equally, unfortunately. All plastics are non-biodegradable, but some are recyclable and some are not. Some have particular levels of carcinogens which make them more deleterious to human health than others. Plastic bottles are recyclable, and unfortunately there is not sufficient glass alternatives at the prices that our market could manage. So it doesn't leave us with the genuine option to ban a plastic bottle. That's just not on the table. We wish it was, but it's not. It's not a genuine option for Jamaica or for most of the developing world. But items like plastic bags and styrofoam and plastic straws and the plastic lunchbox containers that we're taking a look at now are indeed, they're bannable because there are recyclable and biodegradable alternatives for each of the other items that we will target.
The idea is to stop the solid waste and plastics from entering Kingston Harbour using barriers. The technology is primarily from the ocean cleanup. Grace Kennedy and its partners are the local operators. They manage the project. They also provide technology to deal with how to sort, what to do with the plastic once it's collected by these barriers. And so the effort really now since about February 2022 to March 2024, they have removed 1.5 million tons of plastic.
So what's next? We all have a part to play in preserving Jamaica's rich marine environments.
Individually, I think the first thing is we have to really own the problem. We have to accept that we are part of the problem and therefore we have to be part of the solution. And so I think it begins with attitude change. Persons need to begin to see how they can minimize the volume of garbage in the waste stream. I think even the best waste management system, which we don't have, couldn't possibly handle the volume of garbage that we're putting into. So individuals need to see how they can sort, how they can minimize, use less plastics. We've become addicted to plastics.
The future of this paradise rests in our hands. Will the next generation only know Jamaica through stories and faded photographs? Or can we work together to ensure the broken blue is not the color of their memories, but a symbol of hope, a reminder that we fought to heal the very lifeblood of our island nation? Together, we can restore our broken blue.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Children are the future, and ensuring our future is healthy requires that children are always provided with nutritious foods to grow well and live long. Unhealthy diets high in sugar, salt, and fat consumed by children may make them obese and prone to non-communicable diseases later in life. Healthy foods and beverages not only help them learn better, but also protects them from non-communicable diseases such as some cancers, diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases in their childhood and adult life. So, whether it's at home, in the lunch bag, or at school, let's make healthy foods and beverages for our children the only rule.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But be sure to join us again tomorrow right here on this same station for more information you can use to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In the meantime, we invite you to visit our website at jis.gov.jm for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.